Hello and welcome to a game of Dota 2. We are here with Techlabs Ukraine. It is a $10,000 tournament. Winner takes home 5,000. We have 4 teams on location in Ukraine. And we have got 2 of them right here with us. We have Terrible Damage, formerly known as IC Cup, and Cascade, formerly known as Oslo Gaming. Of course, this is a round 1 match of a double elimination bracket. And we're gonna see which one of these teams will be going up against Power Rangers and which one will be going up against Rock's Kiss. And I will try not to spoil the results of that one. Of course, with me is Kanaz, who will be casting, or co-casting alongside me for this entire day, apart from the Grand Finals, which he'll be casting by himself on his own channel. So when the time comes, we'll make sure that you know when the swap is happening and then where you can watch the Grand Finals, because you should want to watch those. But yeah, Kanaz, we have a first ban, Timbersaw.
We do have a first ban, Timbersaw. That's fun. I like when Timbersaw gets banned, I guess. But his voice is so sweet that I want him in games, so I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this. Do
you know what he does when he picks up a
Does he have a sweet... No, I don't think I know what he sounds like. I probably heard it, I can't remember.
He's like, cut, that's
what he says on Haste?
Yep.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that. That's real good. Timbersaw has a sweet voice, and we don't get to see him. And I'm wondering what else Cascade are going to ban. Abaddon. Alright.
Okay.
So Abaddon's a big deal. Who knew?
Who knew? We have seen him, of course, in the previous game that we saw. We should try not to spoil it too much, though, because people should watch the replay, especially those who want to see the first competitive game of Centaur. But yeah, we have a Bad Rider still in the pool, so that was still the first pickup for IC Cup. They're not, or terrible damage. Oh, my bad. They're not going to pass up on that one. We have an IO banned out and a Weaver. Weaver we saw banned out in the first phase last game as well, so fairly standard, I'd say, or at least fairly high favorable in the current meta game, if you want to call it that. We still have an OD in the pool. That was a hero that was banned out in the first banning phase previous time. Also, 2 heroes that we've seen a lot of lately are Lifestealer and Alchemist. Of course, Lifestealer was banned out in the previous game, but Alchemist was completely ignored, and right now both heroes completely ignored.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they went with like a Nyx Assassin Naga first pick. Naga, maybe not super surprising, she's a hero that we see a lot of, mostly in the support role nowadays, but Nyx Assassin, he's kind of slowly fallen out of favor as other support heroes have kind of become more and more popular. Nyx is pretty okay against Batrider. You could pop the Spike Carapace just to stun him when he has the Firefly going on, which can kind of try and muck up his initiation a little bit with that. And of course also Impale is a line stun that you can try and mess him up with, but definitely not a hero we see a ton of anymore. Hopefully they know what they're going to do with it in this particular game.
I hope so too. I would think that this is their support duo though, so they're basically not giving anything away just yet. And if they're going to be aggressive or defensive, it could still be aggressive. I think it's not the strongest in the world actually, but potential is there depending on what carry they pick up. We have a Lifestealer pickup, so that's going to be a Bet Stealer Bombs, if you want to call them that. Of course, Infest and the Bear Rider are going to assume that he is going to be able to pick up a Blink Dagger at one point or another, and that they're going to be able to gank around, trying to make things happen all across the map. And the OD and the Chen band.
Yeah, and so obviously Blink Dagger, like you said, he'll eventually get it. There's really nothing you're going to be able to do where Batrider won't eventually get his Blink Dagger. And we'll probably see resolution on that Batrider in the mid lane. And now they have the Lifestealer to go with it, so they do have the Bat Bombs. Blink in, lasso somebody up, Lifestealer comes out, do a bunch of damage, be able to just kill one hero immediately. It's very powerful for a TTD to start off this draft. They give away a lot more than Cascade as to what they're doing, but I don't really think that's that bad of a thing right now. Lifestealer and Batrider are very powerful heroes, and sure, you kind of know what you're going to do with them, but you still got them early in the draft, and they're very good heroes to have.
Of course, one thing to note is that Lifestealer did get picked up into the Naga Siren. Of course, Naga Siren has her ensnare that she can lock down Lifestealer with or without the rage. It still hits. So that's already a strong tool against him. Nyx Assassin also a tool against the Batrider. So I like Cascade's pickups, very diverse and very countering towards what TTD has actually. We have a Razor banned out, which is I mean I like Razor. Mostly I like him up against the OD. But normally when I see a Razor banned out, it means that I'm expecting the team that bans it out to go for either an OD, but in this case of course that's not possible anymore. Or they go for a single carry lineup so that you can only, like, if you drain all the attack damage from that one hero, then you're gonna be fine. I'm kind of hoping that's not the case though, because as we saw previous game, where actually Razor was banned out by the team that only had one real core. I don't like one cores anymore.
Yeah, they're definitely not. They're not popular really anymore, and there's pretty good reason for that. They're also not very successful anymore. A lot of teams have kind of figured out how to run 2, sometimes even 3 core lineups to great success. So yeah, we're probably expecting to see more. I think maybe they were mostly concerned about Razor against the Lifestealer, just because of how effective he is against Lifestealer with the damage steal. He lowers his armor with his ultimate. And of course, you can't really open wounds the Razor either because you get slowed a lot. It's a single target spell. Maybe that's what they're thinking of when they ban it out. They just don't want to deal with that. True. Regardless, he will be taken out. They're going to pick up a Leshrac now. It's a pretty powerful support. You can sort of use open wounds as a setup for Split Earth. Obviously, it's one of those stuns that's a little bit more difficult to land in terms of just its AoE and has a long cast animation. Open wounds is not as great of a setup as it was all those months ago when maybe we saw this a little more commonly, but it still can work.
Yeah, of course, we've seen quite a few dual lane Leshrac Lifestealer, indeed, like you said, a couple of months ago, but that was all before Lifestealer had his nerf to his open wounds, so we'll see if they go with another support to accompany the Lifestealer and Leshrac there, to be maybe a little bit more of a setup. They go for the Lone Druid, so that's going to be another core, if you will. So we're going to probably see him on the off lane by Mag. One thing that I just want to point out to everybody watching that want to watch it inside the game client, it is possible to watch these games inside the game client. There might not be a ticket available for it, but if you look up the teams, right click on the player, and click watch game, you should be able to see the game. In this case, unfortunately, Cascade is not listed as a pro team. IC Cup is, though. You can look up IC Cup. There's only one player in the official IC Cup team in the Dota team list, and that's We Just Zig, but you can still check him out because he is in the game. So you should be able to watch the game from the game client if you work your way around all the obstacles. We've got a Shadow Demon ban out. That's of course a good setup disable that terrible damage might have wanted to have. With a Jarrah Cup to remove from the pool from terrible damage. And that means, I mean, that's quite standard actually, because we are gonna expect wow, are we gonna expect Nyx Assassin solo mid? I hope it's the case.
Yeah, it could be Nyx mid very easily. They could also pick another mid, run Naga as a farmer if they wanted to, with the Darkseer off lane. Is that a Spearbreaker mid? And then like
Naga Siren carry?
Naga Siren carry? Or is it farming Spearbreaker with like a Nyx mid? They have options for what they can do here. I don't know which one I like best. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what they're going to do up regardless, but Spearbreaker, he's a fun hero. Bashes people, doesn't afraid of anything, you know, just runs around.
Yeah, and the Rubik last one for terrible damage, so that's going to be a charging Rubik perhaps, who knows. But also a setup stun, setup disable. Of course, Telekinesis is able to set up for the open or Split Earth and for open wounds actually as well, so you can choose to go what you want to go for. But let's see who is playing what. We have terrible damage, which is, by the way, terrible to pronounce because terrible damage doesn't just roll off the tongue. IC Cup actually did in the end, so oh well. But terrible damage on the dire side. We have We Just Zig playing the Rubik for this matchup. Jackal on his Lifestealer. Resolution playing the Bear Rider, always wanna fly, playing the Leshrac. And that will leave Mag on one of his signature heroes, Lone Druid. And we might actually see an aggressive tri-lane with the 3 of these. I mean, Rubik is a pretty decent hero to set up for. With, and then, yeah, I would like to see an aggressive tri-lane from them. It looks like Resolution is, of course, going towards the mid lane. We'll see if there is an aggressive tri-lane. Let's hope there is. I'll leave Cascade to be introduced by you.
Yeah, for Cascade, on the Radiant side, we're going to have Obi-Wan Banan playing the Disruptor. Chami going to be on the Nyx Assassin. Looks like maybe Nyx is going mid to start things off. Yep. Not sure if that'll be what it ends up being, but they do have Judo going to be playing the Spearbreaker. Alba is on the Naga Siren. And finally, Big Num will be on the Darkseer. We know he's going off lane. I got that one down. And Disruptor is definitely going to be support. As for what those other 3 are doing, they have a lot of combinations. We'll see where they end up running.
Well, Judo is normally the carry for Cascade, so I'm gonna expect him to take some farm. But the thing is about a Spirit Breaker is that he doesn't really need to be the carry for that long. He doesn't really need to farm that much before he can actually start messing up other lanes. So what I would like to see is, I'm not sure if it's possible, especially not if there's going to be an aggressive tri-lane against them, but if he's going to start charging on other lanes and Naga Siren takes over the farm on the bottom lane.
Yeah, that's certainly possible if they just want to give a little bit of early farm to the Spirit Breaker so he can move around, tank up a little bit, grab those boots so he's a little bit faster for these ganks. They could certainly try and run something like that and then leave Naga Siren down there to just take the farm once Spirit Breaker starts moving. Or they could just run farming Spirit Breaker. He doesn't need a lot of farm to get effective, but he can do something at least with the farm. Naga also can kind of do stuff, but she's not really as strong as she once was, and she needs a lot of farm. So unless you're really committing to the Naga farm early, it's going to be tough.
Spirit Breaker already gets Open Wound Split Earth. I think he's going to be turning into the first blood here unless he can charge away. He tries to.
There's nothing to charge to.
Nothing to charge. We actually charged towards always on a fly, but oh well. First blood to resolution on his Bear Rider, so that will be the good start for terrible damage. One thing that I want to point out about this Bear Rider, look at his feet on the Bear Rider's mount.
Look at his feet on the Bat Rider mount.
Oh, but you have to wait until he flies the other way. We'll check it out later.
Okay.
But he already has a bottle because of that first blood. It's quite.
Well, now I'm curious what I'm supposed to be looking for.
Well, wait until he flies around, and you'll probably see what I mean. But oh well, it just looks awkward. I also don't know how that mount can keep himself up in the air because he looks like he's way too fat for his wings. Oh well. Well, we did introduce everybody. I think for the top lane, Big Num is going to be okay for now. He's laying down some nice harassment on that bear. If he can get a kill on that bear, that will be a big boost for him in terms of gold. So hopefully for Big Num he can get that going. But we'll see. For now he's going to try to tower skip the creeps. In the meantime, on the bottom lane, we do have that aggressive tri-lane from terrible damage. And with already one kill on the board, Cascade seems slightly afraid.
Yeah, they gave away that early kill. It gives experience the other way, the assist gold as well, so they're just kind of behind to start things off even before the creeps spawn. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them early on. They also have kind of an awkward support pair. They don't have a real stun. Disruptor, obviously kinetic field, is not great. You can use Ensnare as a setup for it, and it'll hold them in it for a while, but against a hero like Lifestealer, he can just rage and walk out of the kinetic field, and I don't know if it's going to work out the way they really want it to down this bottom lane for now. I really favor TTD's tri-lane in this match.
And they're going to try exactly what you said. Gonna go for always on a fly. The Split Earth will hit upon Judo though, and he tries to run and should be able to as well. Jackal also gonna be able to get away from this, but their harassment is clear. I mean, they did exactly what you said they would. A snare to set up for the kinetic field. The charge was there as well. Bit of damage from coming off from the Thunder Strike as well, but it wasn't enough to go for a kill. They have got the shutdown, but they don't have the nuke damage that is required to taking down those early kills. On the bright side, they do make sure that TTD uses some of their regen. So slowly but steadily wearing that aggressive tri-lane down is already going to be quite worth it for them.
Yeah, I'm surprised Jackal kind of committed so hard to that. They could have just kind of gotten away, only losing some health on the Leshrac. He stayed in a little too far, I think, and took a lot of harass, ended up having to use his salve as well. So instead of only having to use one and maybe a tango or two, they ended up using two salves, so that's really good for Cascade down in this bottom lane. And with them able to start, they're trying to pull, they can't really find the Sentry Ward yet, looking around, but it's in the trees, they haven't spotted it out yet. Wasting some more of their support's time.
Yeah, and they already had one sentry earlier on that actually didn't catch out the Observer Ward.
Yeah, just out of range, which is really sad for them.
Yep. Wow, it's quite a blow actually. If they can't use that, if they can find that Sentry Ward of TTD, that's gonna be 200 gold wasted, and that's so valuable at the start of the game, especially for those supports that are already gold starved to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, it's a waste of gold, and it doesn't let them pull. They are completely baffled, I guess, on how to find this. So they're going to sit around and now just have to hang out in lane. They missed some creep waves worth of experience. They were behind anyways from the first blood. So definitely good for TTD there to be able to get that block that Cascade just can't figure out.
Yeah, in the meantime, the middle lane also has TTD in favor for them actually. 24 for 10, going the way of Resolution, while Chomi sitting on 12 for 3. Though, of course, Resolution did get a head start, and when level 6 comes, I think Nyx Assassin, and both Nyx Assassin and Bad Rider actually can try to go for a kill. We're just gonna see who is gonna be the most successful in that, and which kill is gonna be given the most difference to the game plan on itself. Top lane, Big Num is actually rotated back towards the front of the lane. 24 last hits for him, as Lone Druid is sitting on 28. So Mag is having a field day there, and he is now level 5, so he has got Entangle on his bear, so Big Num has to be careful.
Yeah, a surprising Entangle can always be very good, and maybe set up a kill. It's going to be kind of hard anyways, unless Big Num gets particularly low on HP, even with the Entangle. But yeah, he's going to get the Entangle right away, and that won't be enough to get the kill. He has to just kind of harass him down a little bit, and then once he's below half health, if he gets an Entangle, that can be a kill on Big Num. So there could be a surprise First Blood up in that top lane if something particularly silly happens. Oh yeah, Second Blood, that's right. The one took place all the way at the beginning. So first now in like the laning phase.
Yeah. I mean, with that First Blood off the board, it's actually... I mean, the pressure is off, kinda. You don't really have to get that First Blood first as your team anymore because, you know, it's already gone. So you don't have to worry about that extra gold. They are going for Jackal here again. At least a little bit of harassment in the bottom lane. But after that last engagement, after the last initiation, Cascade has been keeping quiet. They've been getting some last hits up on Judo. Not that many, mind you. I mean, he's 12-0. Jackal sitting on 27-3. So there's a big difference right there. And actually, we have a rotation there. It is going to be Judo that rotates top. He's got the charge up, and he's going to go for Mag. He's going to try to dive the tower for this. Big Num coming in as well, but he is way too late to try and help out. And that will be a bit of an awkward engagement. Miscommunication?
I'm not sure. I think Big Num maybe wanted to get in range to drop an Ion Shell on Judo. Maybe that was their plan. It seems unlikely they would have been able to put out enough damage, especially under the tower, to really go for that kill. It's kind of awkward. I'm not sure what they expected there. Even if they were communicating and they both went at the same time, I think that would have been a very difficult kill for them to really get.
Yeah.
Regardless, a waste time of Judo. He's just kind of wandering around now in Spirit Breaker, walking back towards that bottom lane. And this is time when everyone's just kind of farming. Bottom lane in particular, Jackal's able to just do whatever he wants down here with Spirit Breaker missing. He's their only real stun, even with the ensnare. He's not super afraid of that.
Well, we have got Bad Rider now also level 6. He actually went top with the haste rune, but decided not to try and make anything happen. We do have the Nyx Assassin also rotating though, and he is in base right now, but he's level 6. He has got his Vendetta, so we'll see if they try to make something happen. But the thing about a Nyx Assassin is, I mean, when he is missing from the map, you know what can happen, so you're gonna be extra careful. Same thing goes for Bad Rider, I guess, but we'll see if either one can be successful. Nyx Assassin gonna be the first one to actually try something here on the bottom lane. But look at the positioning of TTD. Behind the tower with the supports, or next to the tower with the supports. Jackal the only one there. And he has a rage, so he has an escape. And this will be Chomi going all the way back to middle. Walking past the ward. Supports know that they're safe.
Yeah, they can see this Nyx this entire time when he's walking around. Now they know he's coming back. They can immediately start positioning themselves more safely. We see the supports walking backwards. It's just waste. Well. Yeah, it's just completely wasted time for this Nyx Assassin. While this is going on, Bad Rider's got completely free reign of this middle lane. He was already pretty far ahead. He's 47-15. Nyx Assassin is 20 for 6. It's more than doubling him on CS right now. And that's going to be pretty huge. Bad Rider Resolution is going to be able to move around very, very soon with that Blink Dagger. Probably about a minute, 2 minutes away, probably. Yeah, so it's going to be rough.
They're going bottom. There's already a kill. Naga Siren dead. We just dig. We'll go down as well. So it's a 1-for-1 trade. Split Earth is going to make this a 2-to-1 trade with a double kill going towards Wanna Fly. In comes Vendetta though. Let's see if we can find someone. Goes for the Nyx. Impale hits as well. That should be a kill. Jackal. 1 bash needed. There we go. 2 for 2. And that means that this trade actually goes the way of Cascade, who was the one to initiate as well. But they lost 2 supports for a support. And of course the main carry of terrible, terrible damage.
Yeah, it's definitely a trade that slightly favors Cascade, but at the same time, they did have to rotate Chami down there on the Nyx Assassin again. and he's still not doing anything to this mid lane, and he's not really. He hasn't. No one's come up towards his top lane except Spirit Breaker in that really awkward and questionable gank. He's currently the lead farmer on the map, so Mag is going to get really big on this bear very quickly. He's already got 2,300 gold. He's going to have a Radiance in a very fast time if he wants to go for it.
I think he does.
You would assume. Yeah, you would assume he does with 2,400 gold just sitting in his bank.
Yeah. It's quite scary actually for Cascade. I mean, we see the last hits in the night. It's all TTD that's on the top 3 net worth. Same story. Lifestealer is on par a little bit with the Darkseer, but I mean the main difference between those two is that Lifestealer can just do a lot more in terms of carry potential than what a Darkseer can do. Darkseer has some control, but he also needs a bit more levels and gold to be able to exert that control. So when teams start rotating, when TTD has that Radiance, I think that's going to be our starting point perhaps, if Resolution maybe doesn't give the starting signal with his Blink Dagger that he now has finished. Even though I think he's going to go bottom with that as well. But I think when the Radiance is done on the bear, Mag is going to be just saying, you know what team, let's go 5-man and let's take down some towers and end the game. Oh, charge up on Jackal bottom lane. Let's see if they can make something happen. Awkward Impale. That's going to be no kill. That's going to be no... Yeah, that's... Anticlimactic.
Yeah, they saw him begin running back, so they went for the Impale. Charmy wasn't quite able to get it, and they kind of had to give it up. Now Judo's getting initiated on.
Yeah, the Ensnare is there to try and save him. He tries to run away, is very low already though. 1 hit away from dying. Jackal is on the chase, gets the kill. In the meantime, in comes a Blink last 2. It is Nyx Assassin that they want, and it's Nyx Assassin that they get as well. 3 dead on the side of TTD, with Disruptor going down to the Rubik as well, and Resolution not done just yet. Maybe they get Alba as well. Open wounds are there, Resolution there, of course, as well. And this will be 4 dead. And somehow we just got 3 of those, so he's got a triple kill to his name, and a tier 1 tower will go down. Lone Druid still one-on-one with the Darkseer. And the 4-on-4 fight is a 4-0 exchange in favor of TTD.
And a tower.
And a tower.
So, and while it's going on, Bear is still farming in the top lane, so everything is going terribly. They are killing Mag now.
Yeah, the Darkseer will even goes down. They might be able to get him. They will be able to get him. In comes the bash. And now level 6 upon Judo. Let's see how aggressive he can be. The thing about a Spirit Breaker is that he is, in certain situations, he is very strong. He can just charge around and kill people, but he needs a bit of a head start, and he needs to be continuing to be aggressive.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Continuing to get kills. He cannot rotate, or he cannot move around for nothing. He has to get kills out of what he does.
Yeah, every time, especially since he was their farmer in their safe lane, he can't afford to be moving around and not getting anything done. Because if he's wasting time not accomplishing anything, no one else on the map is either. If they're just walking around wasting time, they don't have like a carry to fall back on realistically with this lineup. Naga, we kind of mentioned that maybe she'll try and take some farm, but she's still only got 4 last hits. And there was even a point when Spirit Breaker was out of the lane, a second time now even, where he just was out of lane. And Alba really hasn't been able to get farm either because they were up against that aggressive tri-lane and they never had to rotate. Especially with their other 2 lanes winning so hard. Batrider obviously demolished Nyx Assassin in the mid lane, and there was just kind of a trade up in the top lane between Lone Druid and Darkseer, but that favors Lone Druid. He's going to have the more impact on the game as it goes on.
Yep. Let's see if Resolution can get some more kills. He's building towards a 4-staff, and I think he's got the taste of blood, or at least with the fight in the bottom lane. TTD knows that they're ahead right now, and they're actually ahead by quite a lot. We have got 7,500 gold in their favor. We're only 12 minutes into this game, so that's quite insane. Experience graph, 5,000 experience going their way. And of course, the support Rubik. Got a triple kill on the bottom lane. He's got boots, he's got a magic wand. He has been warding all over the map, and he is level 6. Which is of course something that, for example, Naga Siren and Disruptor are not. And both of those have got pretty important ultimates to be able to throw out. I mean, the Sonic, the Song of the Siren that you want to have to just disengage everything that might happen, that TTD might throw at them. Or the Static Storm that you might want to throw out to make sure that everybody is silenced, that you can go on someone, that you can win a major team fight. Because team fight wise, Cascade is actually quite well decked out. Got yourself Kinetic Field, Static Storm, Impales, Darkseer Wall, Vacuum, Iron Shells. All there. Oh, Blink Lasso goes for the Naga Siren. Down goes the Naga Siren as well. The charge is still there though. Are they actually gonna try? Oh no, I was gonna say, because that would be quite risky. Oh, in comes the Vendetta, Impale as well. Resolution. He goes down. Nether Strike helping out. One more hit needed. Glimpse back. Come on, they can get him. One more hit. What? No, 20 HP. He lives. He dies. But Nyx Assassin went down before Batrider did. And Disruptor goes down on the other side as well. We do have a disconnect from the spear. Oh my god. That's why he didn't get the last hit out. He disconnected?
Yeah, maybe. It's certainly possible. It was kind of weird what they were... I'm not sure if it was just he disconnected and that's why he didn't right-click one time, or if he had a little bug there and disconnected after. It was weird, so I wouldn't doubt if they said that he disconnected before the fight. It's unfortunate regardless. They really just weren't quite able to get him down. And they ended up giving up a lot for it. They ended up trading 3 heroes to kill that Batrider after losing their Naga, so that's a 4-for-1 trade. You got the Batrider very farmed here on the map, but you can't afford to be losing this many heroes. And they're still just kind of leaving the bear and the Nyx alone. They're charging the bear now in the top lane, though.
Yeah, see if they can make something happen. Already a lot of TPs going towards the top lane as well. There is a teleport or a ward there, so they know this is happening. Also TPs incoming for TTD. They look for Mag. They find him. But can they take him down? In comes an ensnare straight away. Lift up as well. Split Earth to follow up. Always want to fly, will be forced back. They are now gonna try to chase down him as Obi-Wan Banon lands a static storm kinetic field, tries to get himself away, will not be able to do so. Leshrac gets traded for him though. We still have Judo alive in this, but he has to back out. In comes the ensnare, still up a Mag. They still want to take him down, and they end up getting him. Double kill for Chomi. In comes Resolution, has got a lasso, looks for the target. In comes the charge as well, and the song to disengage. Double kill for Jackal still as he kills off the Darkseer in the forest, who didn't get hit by the song. 2 for 2 in the end with the, well, it's a fairly even trade in terms of lanes. I mean, a support for the solo laner. But I would say actually it goes in favor of Cascade. Despite the denied tower.
Yeah, it's Cascade are behind, so going in even trade is always good for them. And to take down the bear is always a very good thing. It's slowing down his radiance. He always has the relic done though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean... you're not really stopping him that much, but it stops the recipe at least. Getting the kill on him right before he gets the relic a couple times can be a huge deal. But his bear already hits very hard, obviously, because he has the relic, and they're going to lose their top tier 1 tower unless they rotate pretty quickly here. I'm not sure they're going to really want to try and take this fight, though. With Song of the Siren down, pretty much everything down, besides Vendetta.
Yeah. They do have the static storm soon again, but... I mean, I should say, without the song, that's actually the most important thing right now. As you say, they're behind. And the even trades are okay-ish, but they can't afford to lose more fights. And a Song of the Siren will stop them from losing fights, because they can just disengage. And without it, fighting is just not optimal. As a Resolution has a 4 staff ready and 200 gold. And with the Infest in the smoke, they're looking for blood.
Yeah, we'll see who they manage to find, obviously with all the lines being drawn on the map. Heading towards that middle lane, and there are plenty of heroes from Cascade there for them to run into. The question is going to be if they're able to get a hero and disengage safely. If everyone walks away, it looks like it might be easy.
Yeah, they go for Big Nam. Big Nam already dead. In comes the Naga Siren, and down goes the Naga Siren. That's 2 kills. Going the way of terrible, terrible damage. And we just take somehow gets himself another kill. Impale up and always on a fly. They might be able to take down the Leshrac. Should be able to. There we go. They get at least 1 kill in return. And there's another kill. We just dig. Ends up going down as well, losing his unstoppable streak. Gets glimpsed back, right?
Yeah, he got glimpsed. So yeah, that was pretty okay. I'm not sure the buyback from Darkseer was necessary. It ends up being 2 for 2, and they bought back the Darkseer. So I think they really need to try and get this tower in the mid lane, or at least lay a lot of damage on it to sort of make it worthwhile. Otherwise, that buyback I think was very questionable.
Yeah, and Big Nam is actually the highest farmed hero on the map for Cascade, so it's pretty expensive as well. And I mean, this Spirit Breaker that's supposed to be the carry for Cascade, he has lower net worth than the Leshrac.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to be concerned about that as well. If Leshrac is like farming decently and he gets kind of big, that's scary because Leshrac can do a lot of damage for his support. If he gets just a few items up to maybe get a little tankier, so he could stand in the middle of the fight, get those Pulse Novas off. I don't know, it's still pretty bad for Cascade here. They kind of went even in that again, even though they used a buyback, but I think they really needed that tower in the mid lane to make it all worthwhile, and now being forced back. And the Radiance is up on Bear.
Well, Lasso up on the Naga Siren, the one hero that could stop this from happening, but she goes down. Nice static storm kinetic field. A lot of people locked in that, but there's no follow-up damage. They do take that almost on a fly, but Darkseer drops. And everybody else drops as well. The only one that lives is Judo, who was able to force himself away from the fight. But, I mean, that was basically the best static storm kinetic field that you could ever hope for. And they just didn't have the extra follow-up damage to try and take him down. The Darkseer wall was in there, the Iron Shells, the Vacuum, it was all there.
Yeah, it was a beautiful team fight from Cascade. They had the wall into the Vacuum and then Kinetic Field, Static Storm. They were able to lay all of the damage that they could on pretty much the entire team at TTD, but they just couldn't quite finish it off. And the silence isn't really that great against TTD's lineup. A lot of their heroes don't care. Naix is still going to be doing damage. Lone Druid, it does basically nothing to, just some damage. I don't know if what they're going to be able to do. It's when you're behind, what happens? You're out-leveled, so everyone on the other team is tankier, deals more damage, and we saw a good example of it there. Even with a great team fight, they just weren't quite able to finish the job.
Yeah, normally I'd say like they have got this and this carry that would help them later on in the game, or they would have this and this massive team fight potential that would get them back into the game. But they just used their team fight potential, and it was brilliantly executed. It just wasn't enough, and they don't really have that kind of hard carry that can really take the game late game. So what do you suggest for Cascade to do to still have a chance in taking this game and moving on to the winner's bracket, rather than just giving up right now and go to the loser bracket?
It's going to definitely be very difficult for them to come back in this kind of game. The lead's becoming very substantial, over 12k in both gold and experience. They have to kind of just keep calm and take a big team fight, I think, and they have the setup to try and do it. They can't take a 5-on-5 though. I think they need to go like 5-on-3 and just try and use their combination.
They might go for 5-on-5 right here now though. They're walking right into it. In comes a Vacuum. They try to go for it. We just think on the sidelines, taken down by Chomi. In comes the Kinetic Field and the Static Storm, but only hits on the Bear, really. Spirit Breaker already dead. They do end up taking down the Rubik, and Resolution actually has to back himself away from the fight as well. But it is Cascade that is the one to flee. And the only one that lives is Chomi. A triple kill going the way of Jackal's Lifestealer. It is... I mean, you just said they should be looking for a fight where they outnumber their opponents, and be that bad luck or just good positioning from TTD. They just walk into 5 heroes of the enemy team.
Yeah, it's when you're at this stage of the game, you can talk about what they need to do to come back, and the other team can also be thinking about that. What does the other team need to do to really come back into this? Resolution getting picked off there. Loses the gem, actually. That's a pretty big deal. Nyx is able to find that pick off. So they are aware of what Cascade want to do. They want to try and take a team fight where not everyone is there. And they can just stick together very easily. They can just face rush towers now as 5 people. They don't really need too many more items up. There's not a big carry on the other team that you have to be concerned about farming. Like you said during that fight too, the Static Storm was only really on the Bear. It doesn't do anything on the Bear.
It was quite impressive. I mean, the area that they fought in was quite small. So then to be able to hit a Static Storm kinetic field on only the Bear, it's impressive. Everybody walks all the time.
Impressive. I guess it's it's impressive for the other team being able to like delta split and get out of it.
Yeah, or impressive to find a place where there was only the Bear to hit it on.
Yeah, I think it was just the kinetic field was a little delayed after the Vacuum. They had like a 3-person Vacuum,
yeah,
and they dropped the kinetic field on it. But I think he just waited. He hesitated a little bit too long. Maybe he was a little too far back. Yeah, I think he was a little too far back. Recalling it. So it just didn't quite work out. Their execution maybe a little flawed. I think that's one of the biggest problems with Disruptor is he requires like nigh perfect execution to do much of anything, and that's not really what you want because there are other heroes that are easier to play and typically can do as much work for your team, if not more.
Yeah, in the meantime, the gold graph keeps on dropping, goes towards the 17k gold in favor of TTD. With the experience graph, same story, also 17k. And Jackal finds himself Big Num. The open wounds is there, the surge is on cooldown. He has got a mechanism though, he's forced to use it. Infesta's there. Looks like Big Num managed to get away as you just disconnected. Yeah, you back? I think he just disconnected.
Radiant's
So
bottom
we'll be
tower
hearing
is
back from
under
Canas soon. In the meantime, in the middle lane, we have got Resolution taken down. Naga Simon drops for it though. And Leshrac, his Nova and Edict forced Chomi away all the way back. Judo still ends up dying. The kinetic field will hold back the bear to make sure that his... Whoa! Careful there. I was gonna say his Radiance Bird can't get down the Darkseer there, but it was fairly close. Especially with the vacuum to the other side of the kinetic field wall. But this is still a 5-1 by TTD. They might have lost their Bear Rider, but they'll win the fight. And maybe they'll win the war right here as well, because this tier 3 tower is gonna go down. Whether Cascade likes it or not. Are you back?
Yeah, I think so. Is my mic really bad?
It's actually slightly a little worse than before indeed. Oh, Blinking Impale up on 2. We just zig. Is he gonna go down? Looks like he will be going down. There he goes. Can they find more is the question. Galim's back for Jackal. Through the Darkseer wall. Ends up dropping his Aegis. But that is all. And getting him again. The Rage is there. The open wounds as well. Static kinetic field holds him in place. But it doesn't matter. Leshrac will still pick up Judo, who buys back. Obi-Wan Banan comes too close. Goes down. Always wanna fly. In some trouble. Tries to run. Gets an Earth Charge. But the Thunder Strike still gets him. Obi-Wan Banan takes him down. Buybacks all around, with also Obi-Wan Banan buying back the charge up on the Bad Rider to get Judo out of a tough situation. In the meantime though, the racks are still standing. And Cascade somehow still holding on for now. That bear getting a negative Earn Charge on him will end up dropping. Is there a resummon for the bear? No, there is not. That is 40 seconds without bear. Jackal though is still here. And he'll take over the carry role from that bear. Obi-Wan Banan will stay alive. Nice ensnare. Infest out will still kill off the Disruptor who stuck around for too long. A double kill for Disruptor as he got the last hit. And this should still mean the racks go down. Can you try talking again?
Radiant's middle barracks.
Yeah, it's still bad. I think you need to recall me. Like,
Okay.
my internet just dropped for a second, but it's not fixing on Skype.
I'm gonna recall you. See if that works. The snare, mag, it's fine. That's gonna bear again in 2 seconds. Surge forward. Actually, Resolution getting charged as well. Mag forced up into safety. Resolution though, he is the one charged. Will he go down? There will be no Nether Strike this time because it's on cooldown. It looks like Resolution, even with a negative Earn Charge, might be able to get away. In comes the Ensnare and the Impale up on We Just Sick. Maybe they'll at least get a support for their troubles. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They did lose their melee Rex, so it took more effort than I thought it would. Cascade holding on for a fairly long time there.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, it should be good now, I think.
It is.
Yeah, it was just Skype didn't like it after my internet dropped for a second there. I'm not sure what happened, but everything looks good now. Yeah, it was a really long fight. I got to watch most of it, even though I missed kind of the start of it. They ended up doing pretty well. Cascade held out for a long time. It's just this level and gold difference still just coming back to bite them. They're just getting outlasted, really, in the fights, and they lose their melee Rex as a result. This charge going all the way on Mag in the bottom lane, that's
He's
aggressive.
by himself though. Level 17 Lone Druid up against a level 11 Spirit Breaker. Good thing that he cancelled it. By the way, for people in the chat, apparently, because I know that JOTM was streaming in Russian for the games that are happening right now. And I don't know why he's not streaming anymore, but it's not because of me. I know that there's also a Russian stream by, what was it again? Game Show something?
Yeah, it was something like that. I don't know what their stream is.
I don't know either. Couldn't find it on Twitch anyways. But if you don't want to watch any of those casts, you can always check out just watching inside the game client, and you can watch him. You can watch it if you look up IC Cup and you find We Just Zig in IC Cup. Right click on him and click watch game. You should be able to watch the game inside the game client. So that's at least a way for you to watch
Dire's middle tower is under
without
attack.
spamming my chat for something that I cannot help you with. And that I have no influence in. And there's nobody in the chat that has any influence on it either. So tough luck for you people. Anyways, we have a smoke up for Cascade. We see the minimap though. They're kinda on the wrong side of the map. Because it's their base that is
Radiant's
also
bottom tower
under
is
siege.
under
And a smoke up for terrible damage as well on the back end of things. Perhaps they can find a tier 1 tower out of this. They should be able to just tank it up to take it down. I mean, it's the second tower in the game. A little bit of extra gold is always welcome.
Yeah, but there's a glyph here, and yeah, they're just going to use it to slow them down because they're going for tier 3s. They're going to force them back. The creep wave might be able to get it. There's a catapult there. Maybe it'll survive long enough to finish off. It should be able to. But now they gave up.
Resolution, he charges. And he is able to kill off the next assassin. Jackal gets himself a disruptor, walks into the fountain, gets himself... Whoa, he gets himself out before he dies. Resolution though, getting stunned up, getting bashed up, but is still able to help kill off perhaps Judo. Nice, like the nice song to help disengage. The lightning still able to pick up Judo. I was gonna say, always when it flies Nova. That was actually quite insane to, I mean, even through the song it still goes. And the GG is actually called as Big Num gets killed outside his base. So that's gonna be terrible, terrible damage backing off. Or backing off for now, because they are gonna be going to the winners bracket finals. But first we're gonna have the loser bracket semi-finals. Cascade will go up against the loser of the previous match, of which I do not... Game Show Studio, that's very much in Russian.
Okay. Hopefully that will be enough. It looks like Medved was streaming your video.
Oh!
And casting over it.
Well, that's fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you'd probably have to tell Twitch, because I think he got his channel shut down for doing that.
Oh, wow. I don't
That's
know.
what they're all
I'll
upset
see
about.
if I can try and find someone from Twitch, because they've been kind of unresponsive to me. But I'll find it out. First, we're gonna have loser bracket semi-finals, and I'll find out if we can free a JOTM. So stick around. We'll be back.